everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today we're going to do another how-to. It's on something that I've already done, but I happen to have a gentleman write me, Frank Bihari out of Canada. I think that's pronounced correctly. He asked me here, he says, I recall you mentioning in a previous video that you were thinking about showing us how to trim Kato number 6 turnouts to allow for closer track spacing. And I did make a single crossover with number 6s some time ago. It's been sitting in a drawer. I never put it on the layout, never had a need for it, but I just wanted to see if it could be done. So we're going to take a look at that turnout that I've previously made, and I'll explain to you exactly what I did with it, and hopefully you guys can create one of these. It's not an overwhelming task, so let's take a look. Okay guys, here's the crossover, and you can see that it's utilizing the number 6s. You can see that, well, let me turn it over and we'll take a look at the back of it first. You can see right in here where I cut the plastic. I cut it right up to the 2 holes here that the pins would, or the track nails would go down through. So that gives you an idea of where to make the cuts. Now what you can't see, and what I'll put in the still pictures, is right along here all the plastic had to be cut out on both sides to allow for the turnout to engage in the road bed there. Now, that's really pretty much it. As you can see here, I didn't have to modify the joiners any. It uses the standard joiners. I cut right up to the edge of the joiner box, right there. Like I say, it takes some careful cutting, and it is not for the faint of heart to do this to 2 number 6s, but as you can see, it can be done. And this is a piece of double track here that I use as a gauge so that I can tell when I had it correct. So I used one of those on each end. So that basically gives you a look at everything I did under here, and there's not much else to it except for cutting the track. And I'll show you what I did here on the top and tell you what I probably should have done, and I don't know if it would work in practice. Okay, what I did is when I shortened up the track, obviously I just cut the rails off. You know, I cut the road bed out, and then here, and you can see where the 2 nails were down through in those holes. So when I cut the road bed, I also cut the rails off at the same point. Then what I did to give it some rigidity is I went and I cut a regular rail joiner, an Atlas, or I don't know, it could be anybody's, and anyway, soldered that in there to give it rigidity at that point. Then I went back here and cut a gap in this rail, and I went over here and cut a gap in this rail. Now, I don't know whether that'll actually work, or whether that will create a short. Not really positive how that works out, but one could always move the gap up here and make them even with each other. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I think it should work actually, but we'll see. Anyway, that's where I put the gaps. Now, if I had to do it all over again, what I may have done is I may have left this track longer, this rail longer here, and then left this rail longer coming this way. Then when I put the 2 pieces in, I would already have a gap here and here, and then it would be rigid across here through the tie plates, if that makes sense. In other words, I wouldn't have done the soldering here, I wouldn't have done the cutting here. I would have just left that 1 piece of rail up to here. I would have measured it and then cut it off wherever I needed to. Well, I would have this one would have come this way, and I would have made the cut up here. And this one, I would have had it come the other way and made the cut here. But nevertheless, you could extend, you could leave this rail long and cut it off once you've cut your plastic, your tie strip off. Or you can do it like I did it and put the joiners on here and solder them in and then go ahead and cut your gaps. But like I say, this has not been track tested. If you wound up with a short, if I was to try this and I wound up with a short, I would probably just go ahead and solder this at this point right here and make the gap back just a hair and make them right across from each other. It wouldn't matter one way or the other. That way you wouldn't have one wheel touching one rail, one touching the other. But it shouldn't, in all honesty, it shouldn't matter unless you have a different direction on here and here. And then, I don't know, I guess it wouldn't really qualify as a reversing loop. But anyway, like I say, not track tested, but obviously proof that it can be done. And actually, that's about all I can tell you, unless you have a question about how it was done. I mean, it was pretty, as long as you know the locations of where to cut, it's a pretty simple deal. There you can kind of see the gap of how the roadbed was cut. You can see down through there. But anyway, like I said, it can be done, obviously, and I think I'll just leave it at that. Okay, guys, well, that's all there was to it. I hope I helped out Frank here with his one question. He had several more on there, but we're going to concentrate on that one. So I hope that helps you guys out, and I hope it's kind of intimidating to take two brand new Kato number 6 turnouts and cut them up a little bit, but you can see that the result would work fine. Like I said in the video, I might do it a little bit differently where the rails are, but other than that, that's it, guys, and I hope to see you on the next video.